All right, what is going on YouTube, Facebook, wherever the hell this is going? Coach Nate here, and I'm actually very blessed and grateful to have a client on today. So we'll call her Client X, and there's a lot of reasons that many of my clients want to be anonymous through the process. Sometimes it's a little embarrassing to admit to the world that you need a little dating help. I totally get it. So with any client, all things are of course confidential, but the really cool thing with her is that I wanted to do a victory call today. And a lot of the reasons it's because we've come so far in a relatively short time, and just compared to where she was at when we started, it's just a massive transformation, massive steps. With again, the thing that I advertise is not major changes in lifestyle, not the fitness, not the income, not the surface level bullshit that doesn't work or give you real results in your dating life. We fixed what matters, and now her dating life is much better, much more active, and we'll dive right in. So, Miss Client X, how are you today?
Doing good, Nate. What's up?
Awesome. So, wanted to talk about you. So, let us know where, before we started talking, and it was a little funny how we met in a Facebook, dating group and whatever. It's not too important. I want to ask, where were you at before we started talking?
I was at a point where I was like, dating apps don't work. Why am I doing this? And I just basically given up and said, whatever, I guess I'll be a single lady with cats for the rest of my life. And men suck. End of story. Why am I putting effort into this?
Right. And it's interesting that you say that. I run into a lot of men that are in the same boat, just they call it something a little different. They don't consider themselves becoming the crazy cat lady on the block. They're just that single dude that's just always single, and maybe it's because their wife dumped them 10 years ago and they never recovered. But a lot of men are in the similar boat. And what's funny is coaching men and women actually isn't too different, but there are nuances where I, as the coach, I change things because of society norms, right? So to clarify, you hadn't dated in about 15 years, hadn't gone on any dates, right?
No, and I blamed it on various health conditions that I had.
Yep.
That I said, nobody's going to want to be with me because of these conditions or whatever.
Right. So, what I want to ask then, what did you think the holdup was in your dating life? And I know the health conditions were a big part of that. What did you think the holdup was versus what it actually was?
So, like you said, I thought it was the health issues. And I always went around saying, I am not my health issues. I am me. But I didn't act that way. And what it actually was is just my mindset of saying, I'm a valuable person. So what that I have this stuff? I'm still a valuable human being. And you got me to help think that way. More than I really realized that I wasn't thinking that way, even though I thought I was. Did that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. So the way that I would define it is most people that have been single for a long time, they think that they've got to adjust a surface level issue. I need better health, or more fitness or more money or something like that. Or I need to put myself out there more, I don't know, go to more bars or whatever. But what it really was is your mindset. And what I've said before in posts and stuff like that is mindset, 80% of it is succeeding. Then it's only 20% is what you do or how you actually go about it. But the mindset is what matters. So wanted to dive into just how it looked. We started sessions, so it was a big investment for you. You're kind of, not to pick on you, but you're on a rather fixed income, all right? You don't have oodles of money coming out of your ears. So it was about maybe 2 to 4 sessions in, And tell me what exactly changed, and probably more in like your online dating.
It was definitely with online dating. You helped me do some tweaks there. And I went from 0 to full-time job, going through my inboxes and trying to weed out, the junk versus the actual good individual. And it really took me seriously hours per day to go through this. And I think it's a little different for women, for men, than men. Just women, we're just, because we're a woman, men tend to write to us. But again, it was just, wow, wait a second. There's like a whole buttload of messages here on a couple of different platforms.
Yeah.
And some of these guys are actually like quality.
Yeah. Yep.
So it went from almost 0 to hero, so to speak.
Yeah. Just like that, right? So, and
it was like that.
And I want to dive into that just to qualify that a little bit. So this is a client that, she has some health issues, right? So it's not going to be somebody that I'm going to tell, give bullcrap advice. Oh, you need to go out to more bars, or you need to like increase your social life, whatever. It was like, no, based on your situation, we're just going to maximize online dating and try to meet that. Now, obviously, you went on a lot of, or a decent amount of, in-person dates, especially compared to where you were before. 15 years at 0, and then all of a sudden, like every week or every other week, you had a date with somebody, right? So a massive change. But what I like to qualify is we took your unique situation and said, hey, you know what? It's going to have to all come from online dating, and that's fine. It's actually kind of easy. Once you know how to do it, it's actually kind of easy. And she's shaking her head over here. Yep.
Yeah,
So
you have cheat codes.
Yep, got the cheat codes. So now here's where things get nuts. Is that we were working together maybe 2 to 4 months. It was up and down a little bit, and then you had quite the diagnosis. So tell us about that.
I had the nice surprise of my life of getting diagnosed with breast cancer.
Wow.
And I was ready to just throw the dating stuff aside and focus on, I gotta get rid of this cancer. And Mr. Nate here said, wait a minute, why are you throwing it aside?
Yeah.
You can still talk to guys, just be transparent.
Yeah. It was interesting too. I had another good friend that just a little bit ago got done fighting her breast cancer. And she actually still had to do some work through that journey. Disability and her insurance was fighting her on all that stuff. And still, her work was kind of wanting her to show up. She worked from home, but they wanted her to show up a little bit while she's in the fight of her life. Now, of course, like I wouldn't expect you to like go to work, but I kind of had just this thought of like, I know that Miss Client X, you're way more of a person than just a cancer diagnosis, but why not, there's a lot of downtime in that. It's not like you're in the hospital all the time or whatever. Why not still continue to check your dating apps and profiles? Why not still continue to just see what's out there, even though you're going through that journey? And you said, Nate, you're right.
I did say that. I'm going to put it out there. I fought Nate every step of the way.
Yeah.
And then I always came back and said, Nate, you're right. Nate, you're right. Why do you have to be right?
Yeah.
After I thought about it, it was, Nate, you're right. And he's sitting here laughing at that, but it's true.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, there is a lot of downtime in this, so I've got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to talk to me, okay, that's showing that they're actually a decent human being. If they don't want to just ditch me like right off the bat with, hey, I have a cancer diagnosis. that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, and I
For
mean,
somebody to do that.
if they walk through with you through part of that journey, what else can they walk through? You know, when it comes to life, right? So even though we have other health issues, we're fighting breast cancer, we're still having a fairly decent and abundant dating life, which is awesome. So now, I know you're not all the way done with the cancer stuff, but it's all looking good. You had an operation, you know, kind of going all in the good direction. Looks like you're pretty much through the woods. With dating and that stuff, where are you at now?
Actually, within the diagnosis of the breast cancer, when I was going through some of it, I started talking to one particular guy who went through the journey with me and agreed, you know, we should be talking. Let's build the foundation here first. Talking is not a bad idea anyway. And after my surgery, and I've gotten, you know, some energy back, we've been out a few times. We talk every day, and things are looking really good there. Awesome. I don't want to jinx it, but he seems to be a really genuine quality guy.
Beautiful. So keeping the expectations low, we don't want to put the cart before the horse, but you're on track now with a guy that really thus far, after you've been talking for a lot of weeks, but now you've transitioned it for the last 2 or 3 in their in-person dating. It's going really well, and he seems like very well aligned with who your ideal partner actually is, and I think that's beautiful.
Can I say one thing about that?
Yeah.
And I'm going to give Coach Nate props here. When I went into the dating scene, when I decided, okay, I'm going to go back, even though I think it sucks, I had the idea that I wanted a guy who was more outgoing and I guess stronger is a better word than what I am. And I am a very outgoing person at this point, and Nate recognized that. And Nate said to me, yo, that might clash. Have you thought about going and looking for a guy who's on the quieter side?
Yeah.
And it became a yin-yang thing. And I argued with Nate about this too. I admit it. But then I came back and I said, you know, you're right. Anybody that I had dated before that had like the vocal personality, that didn't work. It blew up in my face.
Yeah.
So what's the harm in trying something else? And it's working a lot better for me.
Yeah.
So Coach Nate saw that and brought that right to light right off the bat.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, you know, the surface level thing that people would say is, oh, well, opposites attract. Well, they kind of do. I'll give that old saying holds some water, but it's just like you said, it's not so much opposites attract necessarily as more of it's a yin to a yang situation. It's a give and take. And a lot of time with women who are more outgoing and are used to taking more charge, a lot of time that quieter guy, that more introverted person, is just going to clash a lot less when it comes to a day-to-day relationship. It's going to go a lot better. And now the funny thing is you'll message me, you'll be like, hey, I wasn't used to having to come up with this idea, but I took charge and he just went along with it and it was good. I'm like, yeah, because it's gonna flow easier. And I use that that example on myself, where my wife is a lot more the quieter bookworm, where I'm Mr. outgoing businessman, you know, if you will. So I wanted to the last question I wanted to ask you, Miss Client X, is do you feel that it's a transformation and it's an inside out thing, right?
It was a major transition, and it really is mindset. It's all about your mindset and realizing you're a valuable person. No matter what, you deserve to be treated with respect, and I'm worthy of having a good relationship with somebody.
Yeah. And
there's someone out there for me.
Yeah.
It was almost that simple.
It is. And it's not just rah. It's really, it's living it. Yeah. It's living it, isn't it?
It in dating. It changes your mindset of how you're looking at the world.
Yeah.
And it really is a transformation of your life, as opposed to just your dating work. You're looking at the whole thing differently when you change your mindset, and it's a really positive change.
Yeah. Yeah. So perfect. Well, we're unfortunately cut a little short on time, but folks, I do want to tell you, somebody that's, I hate to pick on you, but somebody that's in their mid-40s, multiple health problems, then diagnosed with cancer, and hadn't dated in 15 years, and now her dating life is awesome. You know, do you want to keep doing your own thing? Or do you want to have a free consultation with me? I think it's worth it. What do you think?
Yeah, Coach Nate, definitely worth it. Worth your time, worth your money.
And
I was the one that went in as a skeptic, and I'm the biggest skeptic in the world, and Coach Nate's number one.
Yep. And lastly, you know, I actually looked it up before the call. If you Google it, the average costs of a divorce in America is between $5,000 and $20,000. That's the average. So if I set you up to not only find your ideal partner, but get with them, make sure that you're well aligned and that you will never have a divorce, I charge less money than that. It's a good investment. It's the best bet you're probably going to have to guard against that situation. So not only can we make your dating life abundant, I'm happy to make sure that who you're going to marry is going to be a good partner for you. And then you can be like me, where I wake up to my ideal partner every day in my life. It's not perfect. Marriage never is. Relationships never are. But I still think that I couldn't do any better. So very cool.
Can I have one thing here?
Of course.
And I just want to say one thing that's really cool about Nate is it wasn't like working with a textbook with him. It felt like he was tailoring everything he was saying to me and my personality and my life.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people out there do that.
Yeah.
But Nate did.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of it. So I don't shoot from the hip. I have a system that I take clients through, but it's just that system is very malleable, you know, depending on where they're at. And really, you know, it was written, what's funny is it was written for men, you know, but really the coaching aspect isn't very, very much different. It's just the nuanced stuff. With men, I have to teach them how to go out and attract, where with women, it's more of how do you become more attractive? How do you draw them to you? So subtle difference, but there's a lot of nuance. I'm going to be different in practice and in reality, but the system works because the system works. So, well, Miss Client X, thank you so much for your time. And we'll talk a bunch as we always do. And Facebook, YouTube, wherever the hell this shows up, we'll see you in the next one.